Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Sunday evening to you all. I hope you guys are doing well out there tonight. Had yourselves a wonderful day, and I hope everyone's had a great weekend out there as we head off into our new week. And it's going to be an active week out there in the weather world as we have a winter storm that we are tracking. We've been talking about a lot over the last several days, but now we can fully focus on it since we're pretty much moving past this weekend storm that's brought severe weather, flash flooding, a lot of winter weather, but we're fully moving past that, and now we can hyper focus on this winter storm across the central U.S. and then into the eastern U.S. So this is how we're going to break this up. We're going to talk about the latest watches, mornings advisories first. We'll speak on that for a couple minutes, and then we'll break it up with the central U.S. We'll talk about the plains, the south central U.S. We'll go as far east with the central U.S. timestamp as like areas of Kentucky and Tennessee. We'll kind of cover the western half of those states in the central U.S. timestamps, and then we'll cover everybody west of that. And then for the eastern U.S. timestamp, we'll cover everybody east of that. So the eastern half of Tennessee, including Middle Tennessee, the eastern half of Kentucky will include areas of like Ohio, sections of all the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, Virginia, the Mid-Atlantic, and we'll cover all that. We'll just check out model guidance, and then we'll show you guys what the National Weather Service is showing as far as ice and snow totals and all these timestamps. And we'll compare model guidance as far as these ice and snow totals. We're gonna cover a lot. There's a lot of information that's going to be given to you guys in this video. So just remember, if I don't talk about your state right off the dot, chances are I'm going to cover your state. Just make your way throughout some of these timestamps. Some of them you'll have to get a little bit deeper into and find your state, but chances are it's there. I can almost guarantee it. So at the very end of the video, we will nerd out with you guys a little bit, talk about soundings. Why are we getting freezing rain or sleet at a certain temperature? Some people are wondering, Mitch, it's 25 degrees. Why are we just going to get freezing rain? I'm going to speak on that, nerd out with you guys a little bit at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling tonight. So latest watches, mornings, advisories. So some of this is overlapped, underlapped, whatever you want to say, with cold weather alerts. For example, up here in Nebraska, we got winter weather advisories mixed with cold or extreme cold watches. But these winter weather advisories that start in Wyoming, stretch through southwestern areas of South Dakota, through the heart of Nebraska. They drop down all the way into northern Missouri, sections of Iowa, a few counties here in Kansas. This is for the storm on the way. Now, kind of zoom into this a little bit. These are winter storm watches up for areas of Kansas. And once again, you got the extreme cold watches with it, but winter storm watches up for these areas we've been talking about. If you've been tuning into my channel over the last few days, I've been mentioning a lot. Right where Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas kind of come together, and this is where the heart of this winter storm is going to be. And there'll also be kind of like a secondary heart, if you will, or a secondary high impact zone further to the east that we'll speak on when we get to the eastern U.S. timestamp. But they already got winter storm warnings up for areas of southwestern Missouri. That tells you how confident they are that a winter storm is on the way for this area. But winter storm watches go all the way to Tulsa, not quite down to Oklahoma City. That might change. We'll see. I doubt it, though. But winter storm watches up for northern areas of Arkansas. Little Rock, no winter storm watches up right now. But Memphis, you have winter storm watches. Nashville, you have winter storm watches. All of southern Illinois. And just about, I know this is kind of clustered up. It's because we have a lot of flood warnings ongoing right now because of all the rain Kentucky just got. By the way, Kentucky got that nice snowfall this morning. That was a pretty snow after all that flooding you got. Some people might not view it as pretty, but some of the videos I was seeing, it was very heavy, wet snow. But Louisville, winter storm watches. Paducah, winter storm watches. Bowling Green, winter storm watches. They stretch all the way to Lexington. Kentucky, you got winter storm watches. And then it gets as far east as about kind of the northern Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee. And then we're just a little bit too far out once it gets over here. So I think we'll get winter storm watches up for North Carolina, Virginia over the next 24 hours. But this is the latest. I mean, highly confident in a winter storm warning. In a winter storm here in areas of Missouri. I mean, Joplin, Springfield. This could be the highlight zone in the central U.S. for a really significant winter storm. In fact, I'll click on it and read the discussion here. Heavy snow expected total accumulations between 6 and 10 inches of snow, locally higher amounts up to 14 inches of snow. All right, so let's move past this. Let's look at the latest Euro. Let's see if the 18Z is in. I don't think it is. It's not. So we're not going to be able to get the 18Z in with this, unfortunately. I'm having to do this video a little bit earlier than I normally do. So, the information could change, but we'll have everything updated in the morning. But this is still the latest info we have. Latest Euro, starting off tomorrow morning, already light snow. This is falling in very cold temperatures up here in the plains, Nebraska, South Dakota, starting to move into the northwest corner and then southwest corner of Iowa, even areas of northern Kansas. And then we start to move this forward. If we can get it in motion here. We start to get this until about midday Monday, snow beginning to move into northern Missouri, a little bit of snow moving into like St. Louis about midday tomorrow. So I'm saying Monday like it's in a couple days. I mean, that's tomorrow. And then we start to, and this really isn't the main event. This is just some energy dropping down with this big Arctic air mass dropping in. Okay, and then we start to get into about, let's go on and fast forward to Tuesday morning, the 18th. Okay, we got snow breaking out across Kansas, light at first, but you see these splotches of like dark blue. This is heavier snow trying to get going. And then we start to get to about midday Tuesday, the 18th. This is when a winter storm begins to break out. A full-fledged breakout across Kansas, northern Oklahoma. Heavier snow starts to fall in like Joplin, like, Springfield, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Some winter weather starts to move in. And then we take it to about, and let's just go on and bog this down a little bit further south. We take it down into the south central U.S. So once again, right where Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas all meet. This darker blue, that is heavy snow. And I can't reiterate this enough. This is snow falling in temperatures that's 10 to as much as 20 degrees below freezing. This is not a marginal snow where it's falling in 30 degrees. This is heavy snow falling in very, very cold temperatures. It will accumulate in all surfaces. But you got this all-out snowstorm breaking out across Springfield. Tulsa, look how heavy this snow is. I mean, even some heavy snow back in Oklahoma City, but you got this corridor of freezing rain setting up from like southern areas of Oklahoma into central Arkansas. How bad will this be in, say, Little Rock, central Arkansas? Not sure. It could trend one way or the other, worse or better. But snow's starting to, move in fully into St. Louis. How far north will the heaviest snow get? Kansas City will get some snow off this. And then this is like late Tuesday evening. Look how heavy the snow is across southern areas of Missouri. Still snowing heavily in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. Northern Arkansas, we got an icing event ongoing in central Arkansas. We got a wintry mix starting to move into Memphis. Snow starting to break out across southern areas of Illinois. Western Kentucky, snow is beginning to move in. And then we start to get this into northern Mississippi. Wintry mix breaks out overnight, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And even, the freezing rain tries to get almost all the way down to Jackson. Not quite, I don't think, but we get some freezing rain all the way into the northern sections of Louisiana, maybe Shreveport, maybe even Monroe, we'll see. But freezing rain all the way down to like El Dorado, I think is a town name in southern Arkansas. Freezing rain and just a wintry mix in the Tupelo. It could switch to a burst of heavy snow right at the tail end of this and say Memphis Wednesday morning. And, it's snowing in western Kentucky. It's snowing in western Tennessee. I'm going to talk about everybody else east here in a second. And then that moves on out. I want to back this up and just kind of talk about this really briefly. This is the middle of the night, Tuesday night. And this is heavy snow right in here. Look at the temperatures this snow is falling in. It's heavy snow in the single digits in southern Missouri and low teens in northern Arkansas. It is snowing in like Alaska type conditions. It's a dry, powdery snow. It's just blowing everywhere. You can't make a snowman out of this. Yeah, definitely not. Just a dry, powdery snow. It's going to be blowing around. Yeah, so, this is definitely a very cold snowstorm up here. So let's talk about amounts. And we actually can zoom into these individual graphics. And that's what we're going to do. And, if you're in Missouri, you're in Arkansas, just fast forward through a couple graphics and you'll see I can't make a timestamp for every state, or man, there would be about 1 million timestamps in this video. But let's start north and then make our way south and then southeast. So this is South Dakota, Rapid City, 3 to 4 inches of snow. The far southwestern corner of South Dakota will get a few to several inches of snow. Obviously no freezing rain up here. Cold profiles all throughout the atmosphere. We're going to get a little bit of snow in Colorado, but they didn't have a good graphic up, unfortunately. But I will tell you, northeast Colorado, 3 to 4 inches of snow. And then, you get along Interstate 80 here, good 4 to 6 inches of snow. Further west, a little bit less. Omaha, good. And this was updated. This is between now and 6 p.m. Wednesday. It's updated about several hours ago, about 1 p.m. Omaha, 4 to 6 inches of snow. Nebraska City, 6 to 8. Lincoln, 6. Southeast corner of Nebraska will do the best. No freezing rain expected in here, but hopefully you can see your town name, city on this map. And then we head into Iowa, a few inches of snow in southwest Iowa. I don't think this will be a big event for you guys, though. But I did want to show it. And then Kansas. This should be a pretty significant event for you guys between now and 6 p.m. Wednesday. The southwest corner of Kansas is probably going to get southeast corner, of Kansas. I'm going to be talking so fast, I'm going to get my directionals mixed up. Trust me, I know what all my directions are, but sometimes you're just talking so fast that you mix things up. I'm sure you guys catch it from time to time. Wichita, 6 to 8 inches of snow. I think a good 3 to 6 inch snow storm is likely here in Dodge City, even though it didn't show up on your map. Lawrence, 4 to 6. We get down to Coffeyville, Chanute might be how you pronounce it, 8 to 12 inches of snow. If you live in the yellow area, 6 to 8, and the orange, 8 to 12. No freezing rain expected in this area. And then we head on into Missouri. And I'll include more of Kansas City here in a second. But Missouri, 7 to 12 inches of snow in Springfield is what they're calling for. Lebanon, 7 to 12. This could tweak one way or the other, but Joplin, 6 to 11 inches of snow. Anderson, 5 to 8. Branson, 6 to 10. This is most likely going to be a significant event in this area. One of your biggest snowstorms you've seen in quite some time, I think, will occur in this area. And then we kind of bump it back to St. Louis. St. Louis has a wide range, anywhere from 5 to as much as a foot of snow is forecast. I would lean towards the lower amounts, but we'll see. Okay, this does include the rest of kind of southeastern areas of Missouri, but if you live in this orange, good for 6 to 12 inches of snow, basically. Rolla, 7 to 13, Centerville, 7 to 12. Hopefully you can see your area pretty good. Springfield, 1 to 4. Once you get south of Springfield, the totals can increase dramatically. Quincy, 1 to 5. And I will show you kind of the rest of Missouri here because there is some areas that were left out. Please hurry up. You're just going way too fast. I think this was the map that was glitching up on me a little bit earlier. I think I can look right here. And Kansas City. There we go. 4 to 8 inches of snow is what they're calling for in Kansas City right at this second. Looks like there's some glitching going on with the Missouri. And then we start to get into southern Illinois. This is where you can really start to get into a high-impact event. This does include the Boot Hill. I think several inches of snow could fall. Poplar Bluff, 5 to 8. Marion, 5 to 9. Mount Vernon, 4 to 10 inches of snow. Paducah, 4 to 7. We're getting into Kentucky now. Madisonville, 4 to 7. Hopkinsville, 3 to 6. Murray, 3 to 5. Evansville, 3 to 7 inches of snow. And we're already showing some love to Indiana here. Jasper, 2 to 6. Not expecting really any freezing rain here. Now we drop down to Oklahoma. Woodard, 2 inches of snow. Stillwater, 2 inches. Tulsa, 3 inches. This could increase closer to Tulsa. Once you get to Tulsa points north and northeast and east, this can increase. But the far northeastern corner of Oklahoma, once you start to get into this yellow area, over 6 inches of snow is forecast. This could be a big event. Freezing rain is possible here. They don't always have the best graphics in this area. It always tears my nerves up. But Oklahoma City, a few 100ths of an inch of ice. A glaze of ice is possible in this area, but not a lot. And then we start to get into northeast Oklahoma. This is when we get to Miami, Bartlesville, 7, 8 inches of snow is possible. Fayetteville showing some love to Arkansas, 3 inches of snow. Fort Smith closer to an inch, drops off quick down Interstate 49, down to Interstate 40. But ice is likely in this area. A few 100ths of an inch of ice. Once you get into kind of south of Fayetteville into that darker, into that orange, that's where you could get 1/10 of an inch of ice or more. So the rest of Arkansas, northern Arkansas, this will be a solid winter storm. You get into the Ozarks, 4 to 6 inches of snow is possible. Jonesboro, 3 inches. This area in northern Arkansas, it could increase. Kennett, Boot Hill, 4 inches. Russellville, an inch. But I'm telling you, this area in northern Arkansas, it could increase. Just be mindful of that, guys. It could increase. They don't have a great icing graphic pulled up for this region, so I had to pull this up. They're just going for, they're not really going for heavy freezing rain totals with this, which is kind of surprising. I think you could get a good 1/10 of an inch of ice and freezing rain in Arkansas. A little bit of ice and areas of northern Mississippi. And one of the last graphics we'll show you guys is Memphis. Memphis, they're about an inch of snow, but you could get 1 to 2. Dyersburg, 3 inches of snow. Fulton, 4. Jackson, 2 inches, an inch or less once you start to get into northern Mississippi. Tupelo, about an inch or less. Waverly, 3 inches. Murray up in Kentucky, 5 inches of snow. But stay tuned. Could have tweaks in this area. A little bit of freezing rain is possible to likely. A few 1/100ths of an inch of freezing rain down here. So, all right, let's talk about the eastern U.S. And I'm not going to leave you guys hanging in the southern New England. I'm going to show you guys too. And we still don't have 18Z Euro, so it might come in colder, but I will compare this to the latest GFS that we have. So this is where we're going to cover the rest of the Southeast. I mean, and I left Nashville, Eastern Tennessee, hanging Eastern Kentucky. This is where I'll cover you guys. And then Alabama, points east. So this is starting off around 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning. We got this axis of snow moving through Kentucky, Tennessee. Okay, now we stop it here. This is Wednesday morning. We're waking up to heavy snow in northern Alabama. Huntsville, Florence. We got an all-out wintry mix in northern Alabama showing up now. This is moderate to at times heavy snow up here in Middle Tennessee, Nashville. Snow moving across the entire state of Kentucky and southern Indiana. We got snow starting to move into West Virginia, even western Virginia. Take it one more frame. Wintry mix begins to break out across North Carolina. The pink is freezing rain. Any orange you see is sleet. We even got snow in the upstate of South Carolina, like north of the Greenville-Spartanburg area. Look at the snow moving into southwestern North Carolina, snow moving into eastern Tennessee. Still getting an all-out wintry mix, staying below freezing in northern Alabama on the latest Euro. Take it one more frame here. The snow begins to taper off, lessen up in Nashville. Snow continues to fall in eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, all across the southern and central Appalachian Mountains. I really think, central South Carolina to Atlanta, you're going to struggle with warm nose issues, which means you might avoid winter weather altogether. But you get into the higher elevations of Georgia, you could get involved in some snow. And then this is when it starts to crank up for the Carolinas and Virginia, especially North Carolina. So let's take this one more, and I'm going to go on and zoom in here. So it begins to is this going to be a big event for Tennessee and Kentucky? I think this will be a pretty decent winter storm. But I think this really starts to get more amped up as far as moisture potentially once it gets into the Carolinas and Virginia into the mid-Atlantic. So let's go and just get a little bit closer here. Okay? So this is Wednesday afternoon. Let's back it up here. So this is Wednesday about early afternoon, around lunchtime. Freezing rain begins to break out over the upstate of South Carolina, really the PD into Fayetteville, Greenville. This is freezing rain. Raleigh, you're right on that wintry mix line. Northern areas of Raleigh could be all snow. This, what is it, Wake County? It's a notorious cutoff line of snow. I think it's Wake County, ain't it? Somebody's probably saying yes, Mitch, or no, Mitch. But, I think this is going to be your classic winter storm. That county is going to be the cutoff. I mean, Mecklenburg County, Charlotte's going to be the same thing, I think. But snow's falling pretty heavy in the mountains of North Carolina, Tennessee. It's snowing all the way up into West Virginia, especially the southern half. We take it one more. This is Wednesday afternoon. And snowing now in Charlotte, southeastern areas of Mecklenburg County, into Monroe. Wadesboro, for example, this is getting way east of Charlotte. You're probably just seeing freezing rain and sleet. But I'm going to draw something here. Whoever is just north of this this freezing rain, sleet, snow line, like right in here, is going to get heavy, heavy snow. We just got to figure out who that's going to be. This is all rain, but a cold rain down in Columbia. Florence, you could start to mix a freezing rain, getting a wintry mix still in maybe Greenville-Spartanburg area. And then we continue. And the cold air source has pivoted weird. I was talking about this to a couple of people on social media. It's like the cold is really digging more. Cold air press is better in the eastern Carolinas. So we start to get freezing rain, trying to flirt with like Horry County down here in Myrtle Beach, Conway. Freezing rain falling closer to Florence, but Columbia still, hanging on to just a plain rain, but cold rain. And you see this dark blue here, kind of north and northeast of Raleigh. That is extremely heavy snow. Heavy snow beginning to, and let's back it up, snow starting to take over a good chunk of Virginia. Now, the big question is this going to be a big event for Western Virginia? I've had some questions. I think you could certainly get several inches of snow, but this might be southeast and eastern Virginia's storm. Okay, Richmond, it could really add up in these areas fast. This is a heavy snow, and as this low begins to crank up deep in, it really could turn into like blizzard-like conditions. Okay, and then we continue to go one more frame. Still, look at all this freezing rain falling in eastern North Carolina. I mean, even the PD of South Carolina. And then, man, it is snowing like crazy into the Delmarva. And just to go a little bit up the coastline, and it is starting to switch to the 18Z, so we'll see what it shows. We go a little bit up. Come on. Here we go. There it is. See the snow coming up? This is Wednesday evening. Snow's riding up into the Delmarva. Wednesday evening into Delaware, the Tidewater. Snow tries to get all the way into southern New Jersey. Okay, snow tries to get all the way up to New York City, Long Island, definitely Delaware. But it gets all the way to the coastal areas of southern New England, the Cape, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, but it never fully hits those guys up there into a significant storm system. Plenty of cold enough, but it never makes it. Now, I will show you the GFS, and we'll go through this a little bit quicker, but I can tell you it's coming in colder and flatter, so it stays all snow in northern Alabama. It's a snowstorm in northern Georgia. All snow event for all of Tennessee. Heavy snow into the Cumberland Plateau, into eastern Kentucky. We got snow. It's an all snow event for western North Carolina into Greensboro, into Winston-Salem. You got freezing rain into Charlotte, but I mean, this could be more so sleet. We got a lot of sleet falling in Raleigh on this. And then it cranks up. This stays all frozen precipitation from Charlotte to Fayetteville. Raleigh, mixing of everything. This is heavy snow right on top of this once again. And then we continue, and this is a heavy snowstorm, quick moving snowstorm, but heavy snowstorm starting to move across the Tidewater into the Delmarva, and then it heads on out and never really climbs the coastline. So, just kind of breaking down some model guidance, the latest Euro. Watch how everything fills in. It really wants to crush northern and northeast North Carolina with a significant snowstorm, and to southeast Virginia and through the Delmarva and the Tidewater with an 8 to like as much as 15-inch snowstorm. It really hits Kentucky hard. Tennessee, just a few inches to maybe several inches of snow. Southern Ohio, it hits you guys too. Now, this is also including some snow. Yeah, so this is still including some. So you got to take away those totals. But you can see the footprint of snow. In fact, there's a better way of doing this right here. Let's look at this. And here it comes. You can see kind of the footprint of snow right through there. It wants to dump even a few inches of snow into Charlotte, but it really, that's that secondary jackpot I'm talking about here in Virginia, North Carolina. And then it tries to ride up the coastline. Now, the latest GFS, what does it show? GFS, I mean, here it comes. It wants to drop a couple inches of snow even in northern Alabama. And, kind of keeps the same footprint as the Euro. So, the latest Euro is running. I don't know what it's going to show. For right now, it's only about 40 hours out. But, this is the National Weather Service forecast, a broad look at it. So, we're going to take a closer look at some of these areas. But they already, and this is just between now and Wednesday evening. So I want to reiterate that. So here's a closer look. National Weather Service forecast at Kentucky, northern Tennessee. Closer look at these guys, and then we'll look at the Carolinas and Virginia. So, I mean, right out the gate snowfall totals from the National Weather Service. Already going for like an inch or so of snow in Charlotte. A little bit of snow like all the way down to like northern areas of North Carolina. But they're already going for a good 2 to 5 inch snowstorm in areas of like the Triad and Triangle of North Carolina. Sharp cutoff right in here. And already going for a few inches of snow. Already going for almost a half a foot of snow around Roanoke, Blacksburg, those areas right there. And already going for a few inches of snow. But it's still snowing here in southeastern and eastern areas of Virginia, the Delmarva, northeastern North Carolina. It's still snowing. So we're not in full range of this. And the freezing rain totals are all glitched up. You can tell they're still, trying to tweak this. But just to run through some of these graphics, we are in range of this almost the entirety of the storm for some folks, not everybody though. But they're going for around an inch or less for areas of northern Alabama. Maybe north of Florence, maybe an all-out inch. This does include, areas of Tennessee right up into here. And, maybe some freezing rain, but I don't even think that, they don't even have a graphic up. But for Georgia, northern Georgia, I think this will change, but as of now, inch or less in these higher elevated regions, but they're not calling for much. We get into middle Tennessee. Right now, around 2-3 inches of snow in Nashville. Closer to Clarksville, around 4. Lafayette, 3 inches. But, middle Tennessee, I expect some changes with this. We could increase. So don't tell everybody it's only going to snow 2 inches of snow in Nashville. It could be more. But here's a graphic of middle Tennessee. I don't expect much freezing rain in this area. Eastern Tennessee, this is just between now and 7 a.m. Wednesday. So this isn't the entirety of the event. I almost just thought about not even showing this, but I know I got a lot of viewers in this area. But guys, this is not the entire event. So once we wake up tomorrow morning, we'll have more of this storm and range for this area. Kentucky, it does show most of the event. Only goes out to 7 p.m. Wednesday. Could still have more snow falling in eastern Tennessee. But here it is. 3 to 4 inches in Lexington, Frankfort, 3 to 4, London, 4 to 6, Russell Springs, 4 to 6 inches of snow, Bowling Green, 4 to 6. So doesn't look like a massive event, but it could trend higher in Kentucky. I'm telling you. And then we look at southern Ohio. It's another area where the Euro likes a lot more snow than this falling. But Cincinnati, about 2 inches of snow just between now and 7 p.m. Wednesday. And just a couple inches of snow in southern Ohio. It's not like a huge event. It does show Charleston down here at 3 inches. They don't have an updated graphic for West Virginia. That's why I don't have y'all up, and I do apologize. But they're still counting a lot of that northwest flow stuff ongoing right now. And then, and if y'all hear my phone go off here in a second, I got an alarm set because I got to go pick up my girls from church, and I don't want to be too late. But Asheville, this is just between now and 7 p.m. Wednesday. Still could be snowing in some of these areas. Asheville going for around an inch of snow out the gate. And I know doesn't sound like a lot. This could trend higher. Spartanburg, Greenville, Spartanburg area, about an inch or less. Charlotte, they're going with about an inch of snow right out the gate. Okay, Shelby about 2 inches, Gastonia probably 1 to 2, Hickory 3, Statesville 3 inches, Clemens 3, Greensboro 3 inches of snow, Boone 5. So, hey, they're already calling for accumulating snow in this area right off the dot. This is their first call too. And, we definitely can get some ice in this area. Closer to Charlotte, Concord, Salisbury, a few 100ths of an inch of ice. Salisbury's going for over a 1/10. So, definitely going to get some freezing rain and some sleet. The Raleigh graphic, I'm telling you, you could get almost several inches of snow. You could get an ice storm. But Raleigh's going to get a winter storm out of this, and probably a major winter storm. But Raleigh, inch or less, latest graphic. Just between now and 7 p.m. Wednesday, it is still snowing in some of these areas. They don't have a graphic all the way through the storm. The further east we get, the further away we get from the start of the storm, right? Greensboro 3, Winston-Salem 4, Lewisburg 4, Henderson 4 inches, Roxborough 4 inches, Roanoke Rapids 4, Rocky Mount 4 inches. We're going to get ice in this area. And let's just look at a huge map of ice. Raleigh, Sanford, 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of freezing rain is what they're going for. But this could increase in this area. But, right here in East Central, North Carolina, just between now and 7 p.m. Wednesday, we're still getting freezing rain in some of these areas. Okay? A couple 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. We're going to get sleet with this too. It's not all the way through. And then we start to get into the Moorhead, Newport City region, National Weather Service. Greenville, about an inch of snow. Williamston, 1 inch. Elizabeth City, 1 inch. We're going to get, ice in this area, but they don't have an updated graphic. And there is my phone. So I'm about to have to wrap this up, but we're going to finish it up real quick. We're almost done. Roanoke, Blacksburg, 4-5 inches of snow. Lexington, 3 inches of snow. Wytheville, 4 inches of snow. So this is probably accounting for a little bit of maybe northwest flow stuff, but this is just between now and 7 p.m. Wednesday. Still could be snowing in some of these areas. Mount Airy, 4 inches of snow. So this is a pretty decent event. I don't think this is not going to compare to what happened earlier last week. I don't think, but that could change. And then this is a big area where I have to reiterate for the 85th time, this is just between now and 7 p.m. Wednesday. Richmond, 3 inches. A lot more snow still to come, most likely, in this area. Petersburg, 3 inches. Farmville, 3 inches. And, we kind of already showed you some graphics up towards the D.C. area. We don't know how far north this is going to get. Norfolk, 2 inches. more than this is going to fall in this area, most likely. A lot more, potentially. It just goes only out to 7 p.m. Wednesday. So just to take another look at the icing, this is the blend of all models, a couple tenths of an inch of ice. Fayetteville, 2/10 of an inch. But this area right here, kind of between Raleigh, Greenville, and Fayetteville, and kind of just north of Florence to Charlotte. This corridor right here could get over a 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain. Someone can get ice storm criteria type ice, 1/4 inch or more, around Fayetteville, west, east, north, south of the city. And we can get some ice down here into South Carolina too, especially the PD with the orientation of this cold air feed. Florence points north, and all the communities here in northeast South Carolina could get a solid glaze of ice. I mean, could even get some freezing rain down to Columbia. So some people were wondering, why are we getting freezing rain? And we'll briefly go over this really quick. This kind of color right here in red, this is sleet and purple. The red on Pivotal Weather is freezing rain. I'm going to click on a sounding just north of Fayetteville, okay, where this run of the Euro is showing where freezing rain is falling. Okay, going to click it, and it's going to say at the surface, it's 28 degrees. Okay, you're thinking, why is freezing rain falling at 28 degrees? That makes absolutely no sense. Well, that's the temperatures at the surface, guys. Okay, that's the surface temperatures. All right. Surface temperature, that's where you're standing. It's 28 degrees. Okay, so this is the temperature. The red is the temperatures, the green is the dew points. And unfortunately, the green is overlapping the red, but basically the dew points hugging the temperature. If you notice this blue line right into here, that is the 0 degrees Celsius line. So that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's the 32 degree line in the upper levels of the atmosphere soaring up through here. Okay, so if you notice, the temperature actually drops a little bit right above our head at about 1,900, upper 900 millibars, which is just 1,000 or so feet up in the air. And then it spikes above that 32 degree line right into here. So there is a bit of a warm nose right here where the temperatures actually go above freezing at about 850 millibars, called an 850 millibar warm nose. So temperatures actually go above freezing. So as it's snowing, snowing, it warms up right here, it melts the snow to rain and doesn't have a chance to really maybe refreeze into a sleet pellet or snow or whatever. So it falls at the surface as rain, but the temperatures actually drop closer to the surface into the 20s. But it's warmer about a mile above your head, and so like maybe, it could be in like the mid to upper 30s. But I would argue this sounding right here might be a sleet sounding. But I just want to show you an example of that little warm nudge right here. See how it's nudging this way? That's an area of warm air aloft, melting that snow or sleet pellet to rain. Then at the surface, it refreezes on contact, freezing rain. Hope that makes sense. God bless all y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. And we'll talk to you again in the morning.